Good morning. Good morning, everyone. And thanks for having me here today and having the chance to present Cryptalgo. As you can see, I'm a Spaniard, but I have a very close attraction to Switzerland because I had spent a lot of time in Zurich, and Switzerland, and St. Moritz in particular, has been a playground for me. I learned to ski right up here, so it's a very special place for me. The reason why we're here today to present to you this big enterprise of ours is that in the last 2 days, you have heard a lot of things happening in terms of the cryptocurrency market. You're hearing a lot of things about how this industry is moving, where we're doing with the ICOs and the technology and the platforms and this and that. At Cryptalgo, we have decided to bring the two worlds together, which are on one side, the very dynamic, intellectually very active, and very technically complex world of development in the blockchain and in the crypto world, with the very traditional, long-time experience investment banking life that we have all had. I myself have been in the industry for 25 years. I've been specialized in derivative trading. I've been in multi-class asset classes, and I've spent basically 25 years doing works in hedge funds and private equity. So what we have decided to do is to create an organization or a group of guys who will be putting together those two worlds into a very simple way, okay? I want to be boring institution. When I say boring, means solid, okay? We're in Switzerland, we have quality, this is the aim of this country, and creativity. So we want to be boring by bringing access, giving access to institutional investor into this new ecosystem. We want to be boring in the sense that I want to have my system working. I don't want to have any flaws. I want to have a strong and if not obsessed approach to cybersecurity in order for you, users, to have access to the ecosystem. So what we have done is created Cryptalgo, and we have been, first of all, we have been putting these two worlds together. So we have the chance to put together people coming from Saxo, UBS, UniCredit, Bear Stearns, BNP Paribas, and others. And there is a gentleman here that has not been put yet because I didn't receive it on time for this presentation, but he's in the room, is Mr. Michael Hudman, the founder and chairman of the company Millennium in the UK, which has entered with us in an agreement to exchange the two worlds that we want to put together. What we are getting on one side is we are providing technological expertise, we're providing ideas on the security, the cybersecurity aspects of the ecosystem, and we are really focused in helping each other on trying to find the best solutions. And I want to thank you, Michael, for your strong support in this venture. At the same time, Michael and his team, a $20 billion company in the UK, asset manager, highly reputed in the UK financial community and outside the UK. The good thing for us is that we have the privilege as a startup company to use the expertise of the institutional side. And this is a very nice thing to put together. So we have been creating this great team, and I'm not going to go into the details, but what is important here is that every single person in his sector has been is a specialist, okay, in every single aspect. Now, what I've done is basically put some top financial, my personal predictions in 2018. It's important to see where we're positioning ourselves, and my personal view, I'm responsible to do the growth of the company, so I personally think that cryptocurrencies is going to be a great thing for institutions. We are seeing them coming in. We're seeing a lot of interest in getting technology in place. This is a very important thing, and we want to position ourselves as being the caterpillar, if I may say like this, of the backbone for them to access this ecosystem. I think that there is going to be a lot of regulation coming in. We have heard a lot of things concerning regulation, accounting, taxes, compliance. We have to address all this. I think also we are going to see this year what I call the ICO 2.0, okay? The ICO world has been shambled. We have heard this morning that somebody said at a panel that 99% of the ICOs are fake. And that's And we are looking at this into a very, very strong way in order to do our own ICO. Regulatory technology and supervisory technology is now being embraced. A lot of institutions now are implementing these aspects. The other thing is that the arbitrage, what I call the FinTech arbitrage, is that we used to see a lot of things being developed in Asia coming to Europe. And I think that this crypto world is bringing the next step, which is now we, as Europeans, we're going to go now to sell to China. And I think that there is a lot of ideas that we are doing, and we're doing them very well, which will be very well and used in the Asian market. So I am a big believer of the shifting the activity on towards the east side. And the last but not least is the fraud. Fraud, cybersecurity has to be an obsession. And when I say an obsession, it has to be an obsession in building systems that will be tailored to the point that we will be able to respond to cyber attacks. To give you an idea, we have hired on board Zohar Rosenberg is our cybersecurity guy. You know, he's a guy that attacks us. His job is to attack our systems. Believe it or not, he's a guy internally in the company. He helps us to find out, to make sure that everything that we're doing is bulletproof. Okay? So we have an approach which is quite unique. You have been seeing a map like this already, okay? The reason is the confusion. We're in a moving puzzle. There's moving parts everywhere, okay? Whether on the transaction payment services, exchange trading, gaming, ecosystems, and so on. So there is a company like on every single sector growing and bringing his own solution in a certain way to the ecosystem. Now, why you need to put money in do you need to put your wealth into cryptocurrencies? I think that this is pretty clear. We don't have to go through this. Otherwise, I don't think you will be into this conference. But basically, what I think is definitely I'm a pro crypto world man. I am skeptic of the value of the currencies going forward. But I think that the usage of the currencies are going to be extremely strong in the market, but they are going to come with an extremely strong volatility. And because of that, we're going to be able to create systems to do arbitrage across all those different segments. And I'll come to that in a second. We've seen some of the volatility. You know, all these figures are already old, even though they are just like a few weeks old. Okay? So what we have done is basically this. We have done two things. One is to create a gateway technology. Okay? This is basically the engine. It's the four-wheel drives, the Volvo that can take you anywhere, the Caterpillar that will take all the trees down and will allow you to have a very solid, very reliable access to the ecosystem. Okay? So it's an institutional tool. By institution, we talk asset managers, hedge funds, family offices, anyone that feels getting into the field but doesn't want to design his own systems, but want to have a very solid backbone. Okay? Best in class in terms of the execution and in terms of the information. High-grade wallet and data security, that's a fundamental aspect to be covered. The regulation, that's one thing that my colleagues and I keep repeating. I look like an old record, because one of the things I am obsessed by, coming from the old banking world, I'm obsessed by regulation, compliance, KYC, AML. I mean, I am really pushing hard on getting this. And we have, in the culture that we have developed in the group, even though we are young, we have a lot of people young in this community, we are seeing that they are understanding now how important this is. So now everything that is done is it compliant? Is it something that is going to be compliant going forward? And what I like also is that we are embracing the new regulations coming. So I can't wait to see FINMA, SEC, FCA, and the others coming into place to give us directions in this field. Okay? So I see, basically, for you investors, for you players in the ecosystems, I see two areas. One is the gateway system, and the other one is how to trade it. And then on the next side is the legal compliance, middle office, back office, accounting, and so on and so forth. So we have to separate the two and solve problems as they come. So this solves the point number 1 and 2, access to the ecosystem and trading into the different currencies. Then we have various components here. I won't go into details, but all this is available and transparent on our website, so you can read it at ease. But what I want to stress on is the next point concerning the architecture. It's very important that when you that's a very high-level architectural design that we have. We basically have the exchanges on the bottom, and at the top we have the institutional crypto cross-matching system that allows us to, over the different exchanges, access the values, the bid, the offers, the volumes, the interest on those trades. Then we have order books, open order books layers that goes into then the COPEX trading platform, which is basically our gateway. Now, the first part, as I mentioned, is I use the name Caterpillar. This is the second part. That's the algo trader part. Now, coming from derivatives trading and risk management, I'm a big fan of futures, options, exotic options. I'm a very big fan of arbitrage. I'm a very big fan of all those things. So what we have done is created a backbone structure, which I call the cherry on the cake, which will be unique cryptocurrency alpha only return box. We are not interested in the exposure to the market volatility. Bitcoin could go to 100,000 to 5,000, we don't care. What we care is to trade the imperfections of the market, trade the discrepancies into prices for one same currency across multiple exchanges, and take that advantage for us. Okay? Now, one thing interesting. Have you heard the word crash in the last 2 days? Yes? Yes? How many times? Many?
I think
really?
This week, twice.
Twice, great. Well, to me, that's not enough. Because a currency that goes from 19,000 to 9,000 in like 3 days and loses $250 billion market cap, I'm sorry, that's a mega crash. So what we are seeing now, a lot of enthusiasm like, yes, it's going to go back to 20. I agree, it's going to go down maybe to 50,000. But right now, you are in a mega volatile, unstable environment. And this is where, by being long, I don't believe being long in a currency. I believe being in the arbitrage of that currency. And that's where I think the juice is. My sister, who I love dearly, called me and said, Francisco, I want to put some money in Bitcoin. And I didn't advise her to put money in Bitcoin. I said, I'm not putting myself money in Bitcoin. Why? Because I want to put money into the ecosystem. I want to trade Bitcoin against something else. Okay? And she ended up investing in the company, by the way, so instead of buying Bitcoin. So I believe a lot in arbitrage opportunities, futures. I haven't seen the results of the expiration last night of the futures market, but what is interesting is products are going to come along the line. You have to remember one thing. I have 6 seconds. The market now is going to close, spreads are going to go down, and we're going to see more products coming in where opportunities will be coming. So to conclude, right? These are some of the snapshots of our screen. We have a planet of execution where we do real-time execution of various currencies. You can go, this is familiar to you. If you look at Bloomberg, you will have a very similar touch and feel. As you can see, Bitcoin against dollars, but we do also Bitcoin Cash against Bitcoin coins. We trade crypto fiats. And we want to look at all this from one world and one same universe. And to conclude, if I have 2 seconds, I want to show you this, is that we have decided not to do an ICO in January. We have decided to have clients. We have decided to prove our system. We have decided to explore with institutions like Millennium to see where we are weak or where we should improve, okay? And we will be doing an ICO, a utility token, by the way, only in the next 3, 5, 6 months, I would say by the mid of the year, where we have a very solid proposition to present to the clients. We don't want to be being part of the 99% of fake ICOs, excuse me.
Please put your hand together for Francisco. Thank you.
Thank you.